On the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, in the heart of Ghana's central region, stands a place of both beauty and pain, the Cape Coast Castle. Its whitewashed walls rise proudly against the ocean waves, but within these walls lies a story of unimaginable suffering.
So when they died, they buried them here. When the Africans died, their bodies were thrown off into the sea. In 1996, there was an excavation at the forecourt. They identified a lot of graves in here, but most of them had no names or inscriptions on them.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to visit this famous Cape Coast Castle. It's a very famous castle, but also it's famous because of its dark history. You can see here all those cannons. They are protecting the castle from like invaders, and we are going to see why is it here? Why is it actually that much protected? Why is this huge building? Why did they build it here during the colonialism? We will see the history. We will see the what happened here and so on. So the tour guide is already calling us. So let's go.
The first structure here was built in 1555 by the Portuguese, not as a castle, but as a small trading post for gold and ivory. Years later, the Swedes, Dutch, Danes, and finally the British would take control, each expanding its size and power. But as time went on, gold was no longer the main trade. Instead, Cape Coast Castle became one of the largest slave trading fortresses in the world.
Let's enter the castle. So here you can see the cannons and also the balls, the ammunition they used. Like, wow, it's huge. And there we go, directly to the male slave dungeon. So here, that's where the male slaves were held.
About the castles and the transatlantic slave trade before we continue with the walking tour. And so, good morning, and my name is Kweku. And so, West Africa, when the Europeans came, they built about 60 forts castles. Out of the 60 forts castles they built, Ghana alone had about 40 of them. And one would ask why. This was because of the gold they were getting from Ghana.
Already just from the entrance you can see that they built it for some purpose, not just for storing precious gold and goods. So here are the dungeons. So this is the last chamber, and here you can see the window, right? This chamber is called the sorting chamber because that's the end of the dungeons, end of the chambers, and here there are only two ways. You could only go from there. Here they would sort them, and they would send the good ones, like those who are still okay. They would pass through here, they go to the ship, and those who are too sick to move further, they will go through here, through a tunnel, then they will probably just be killed or something. So the tunnel is now blocked, but it's crazy. So it's here. Here now we're on the main ground, and you can see here, this is the window to the sorting chamber. So people who will come here, they will go and choose which of the slaves are going to be sent to slave trade, like to the labor, or which one's gonna be killed. It's just insane, like playing God or crazy. Nobody should ever do that or allow that.
So when they died, they buried them here. When the Africans died, their bodies were thrown off into the sea. In 1996, there was an excavation at the forecourt. They identified a lot of graves in here, but most of them had no names or inscriptions on them. So they covered all of them, remaining the four we are seeing to this side. The very first one here is the only black man. These are foreigners. This is the only black man they buried among the Europeans. So originally he was by name Kweku. Kweku's father was a slave merchant. They are all from this town, Cape Coast. So his father brings in Africans to be sold in as slaves. Because of the relationship his father had with the Europeans, that's why they offered Kweku a scholarship to study abroad. So he was taken from here age 11 to England. England, he went to Oxford University, he went to study theology. Age 24, he graduated as a theologist. Following year, he was brought back, ordained as the first Anglican African missionary.
Beneath the castle are dark, damp dungeons. In these suffocating chambers, thousands of enslaved men and women and children were crammed together, chained, starved, and left in unbearable conditions. There was no light, no air. The stench of death and despair filled every corner. Many never survived the weight. Those who did survive were forced to go through a small passage to the infamous Door of No Return. It opened directly to the ocean, where ships waited. Once an African stepped through this door, they could never return, and they would be forever separated from their homeland, never to see their family, friends, or the land of their birth again.
Administrative seat for the British. So for their own intended purpose, they changed the smaller door into the large door.
If you actually check from this side, it says the door of return, because actually they exhumated some direct ancestors and they brought the skeletons back here. So to symbolically mark, it was like in 1998, to mark its real end, and that it really should not happen, and everything is.
But today we have door of return right up here. Narrative changed in the year 1998. The first ever Emancipation Day was celebrated in Ghana. Those who came from the African American diaspora, they brought two skeletons of the descendants of the captives. Samuel Carson from New York, Miss Crystal from Jamaica, coming reaching for Amsterdam, about 30-minute drive from here. They placed the remains on smaller boats and they paddled them to this place. The belief is that when the ancestors were being carried away, the sea was a passage to the New World. So therefore, if they are returning home, they should use the sea as a passage back home.
Above these dungeons, the British colonial masters lived in comfort, eating, drinking, and holding church services, while the desperate cries of the enslaved echoed beneath their feet. The contrast is heartbreaking, a cruel reminder of human greed and inhumanity.
So here was the room. One man having a room just for himself, and down there are hundreds of people living at the shorter space than the one man. And also here you can see the fort. Basically this place was established as like by the Portuguese just for the merchants. Then it changed the owner several times, like the Swedish came, then the Dutch, but eventually the British came here. They also built the fortification. And also, if you can see up there on the hill, there is a small fort that would actually that's like a watchtower. So that if somebody is trying to come and attack, they would give signals, and they will with either mirrors or with the torch in the evening. They would signal that there is a danger coming on, and then they would get ready here and start shooting with the cannons.
Cape Coast Castle was not just a fortress, it was a prison. It was a graveyard of dreams, a place where millions of lives were broken and families shattered forever. Today, Cape Coast Castle stands as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Visitors walk through its halls, touch its cold stone walls, and stand in silence in the dungeons where so many suffered. The waves still crash against the shore, just as they did centuries ago, but now they carry the whisper of the past.
So here was the auction hall. So this is the place where the atrocities have been done. That's where the people came and they presented the slaves here, and then the merchant would come here and exchange it with the different like guns, and they would do like auction here. So like they would put some of the slave, and then the one who gets the highest price would buy the slave, which is insane.
Auctioning went on right here. Strong African men and women were exchanged for commodities not even for money. Mineral, gunpowder, tobacco, fabrics, sugar, salt, champagne, amongst others, in exchange of human beings. And after the auctioning, they would take them to the forecourt for branding. Because it wasn't only one company coming in here to buy the captives, all the companies needed to identify their captives. So down there they had branding metals with initials and logos of the companies on the metals. They set fire at the forecourt, put the metals in the fire for it to become very hot. From there into hot oil, then straight to the bodies of the slaves. And so either to their back, to their hands, or to their chest. Others will have a portion of their ears either cut off or they pierce them, or for easy identification. So that when the various slave ships or the companies are in, they will be able to identify their captives they bought, they move them into their ships.
Cape Coast Castle is more than just a history. It is a wound, a scar carried not only by Africa, but by the entire world. And as we remember, we honor those who passed through its gates, ensuring their pain is never forgotten. Thank you for watching this video. Please think, remember, and make sure this atrocity will never happen again.
Right now we're going to enter the cell for the freedom fighters. Freedom fighters are called those people those are the slaves who actually, like for example, when the slave masters, they came to the dungeons and then they tried to fight them. So we're going to enter this cell, which in fact it's not really a cell. It's
okay. So we would have an
place
experience. I would
because
like to switch off the light.
they just let them die here. So I was saying this is not a cell, it's an extermination chamber. It used to be storage, but then they blocked this and then they just let the people starve to death. There was no chance to get out of here. Crazy. Now we're gonna go up. So I think up there's gonna be again like completely different. The heaven and the hell. Like down is the hell, and now in Elmina Castle's up there were like the beautiful rooms for the governor, huge for the. You can already see here on this balcony they can have a view on the whole area, even on the sea. So we're entering this place. Here we see the courtroom. So the formal court system was actually, that's where it started here. Before the Africans were using this tribunal, this village tribunal. And here we can also see some kind of, I don't know what is it, maybe a church in the middle. We'll see, they'll explain us. Nothing has changed. This is still the original floor.
It became a prison for Ghanaians. But Ghanaians didn't really understand why the same place they enslaved our ancestors, the same place should be a prison for Ghanaians. So out of agitation mitigation, 1992, during the regime of former President Jerry John Rawlings the late, that was when a new prison was built elsewhere and the prison was moved from here to that place. The town is called Ankerford and currently have Ankerford prisons. So they moved it from here to that place.
Okay, so the arts and craft, now it's an arts and craft center. It was actually the canteen for the soldiers, and then it was turned, after the independence, it was turned into the prison, but then the Ghanaians were like, why should we have a prison here, so then another prison was built, and this was turned into a crafts center, or like I guess it was probably empty for a while, and then they turned it. It's a very sad, but I'm really glad that these places exist to remind that the places were restored, and they exist to remind us of the terrible things that has happened, and that will we will make sure that people come here, visit, see. I hope there will be even more like pictures, or they could at least try to like make some paintings, so to show even how terrible it was, to make it even more visual, because it's so shocking and terrible. And now we're entering to some other room. So here from the small room, this is the communication tower, and that's where you see from here. You can, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but from here they would give the signal from the other tower. There must be another one also. And these terrible people, they also had a wine room here. Like, how can they even drink wine when they see that people crying, desperate, down, just below there are, on this part, below there are women desperately crying, trying to get help, dying, like, and they're just drinking wine. Insane. So you can see here, the fort is on the hill, so you can be higher, and they can see the ships approaching from there, and all of the cannons were brought by the British here.
But because it's very old, that's why we have stationed it to one side. So when you check the ones to the far end, you will see wheels or tires under them, which shows that they could tilt it to whatever direction they wanted to point it out. But because it's old, that's why they have stationed it to one direction. So all this original, over 200 years old, brought in by the British. Please, any question? So if no question, you have a people who add the cannonball to it, so they will light a match on fire to the small hole.
From here. Ah, okay, there's a small hole in the, here. Oh, so they light it here. Oh, and the gunpowder, they put it through here. So through here, okay, it's a bit, how did they get the ball here? Look, it's already very dangerous. I think a lot of them died also. So through here, you can still see this little ball here. So they put the gunpowder, then they put the ball, and then they would shoot the ball that's trying to come. Okay, I can see that people are actually trying to lift them. Let me see how heavy it is. And they also seem to be different sizes. Not all of them are the same. So, oh my god, it's extremely heavy. It's like just, wow, just huge. Ooh. How many kilograms does the ball have?
The exact kilogram we're looking at.
Average
Probably 15.
15 kilogram.
10 to 15.
10 to 15, the small ones.
I met someone
Wow.
who said she goes to the gym and what she
And then-
raises is 5 kg, and it's
Oh,
heavier than
it's heavier than this.
heavier than, yes.
Wow.
So probably if you check it out, then yes, probably
Wow.
10 to 15 kg.
10 to 15, wow. So here, actually, if you see, there is this kind of window or something to see. This was the... Ooh. So the slaves would pass through here. And you see the dungeons were there, the male dungeons. So here, if they would go too slow, it would just make them go faster. It would just... And here, it passes through here and gets there. And this is the chamber where the tunnel ended. So now here, you can see there is a wall, but before they were coming through here, and they built a wall to block it, to mark symbolically the end of the slave trade. There's the female dungeon. So if you can see, it's just another terrible hole. Same. This is the door of no return. Here we have the door of no return, which actually is that's basically a mass grave for the Africans, because a lot of people believed in reincarnation. So they would just, when they were boarded on the get out here and they boarded on the boat, then they still jumped out of the ocean just to die because they believe they're gonna be born again. So people, if you are visiting Ghana, come here, pass by, get some souvenirs here at the official places to support the local artists, and also I'm sure that the people here, they deserve a good life. People in Africa should get better jobs, dignity, and that's also things what we are supposed to work on now, right? Because there is the slavery, we have won against the slavery, so I'm sure we can win against injustice and other terrible things. So Harriet, let's get some food. How do you feel?
Kind of feel good.
Are you getting a fish?
Probably I want to try fish, but hopefully my tummy will be okay.
I hope so as well. Mine, like, I'm already getting used to it, like,
Yeah.
after those months here, but still, like, sometimes, oh my god.
I want to try out that
Fish stew.
This is the fufu.
Yeah.
Have you had fufu? Like, she just,
I sit there.
dish it with the hand. Look at the flies. But at least, okay. Oh my gosh. So, guys, let's get some fufu. We'll eat, and either we'll do the video today or we'll rush to the bathroom. So we'll see. So now let me also. They are also doing the video. So let's get some food. Harriet, let's get. I think
Our hands are gonna get really messy.
it's not gonna come out well.
We're not gonna be able to film after that.
But here, it's coming. Here we're gonna eat some fufu with goat meat and fish. So the food was really delicious. Fufu with, I had some chicken and fish, and it was super delicious. I love fufu. Though it was really hot, like my fingers are totally burnt. And so far it seems to be fine. So let's start the city here. You can see a lot of some houses. They are just like ruins or something. I don't know what, but I'm sure in a while when I get back, there's going to be hotels or something, because we are just next to the castle. And we are going to explore the city center of Cape Coast. I'll show you around here, the beaches, and then I will end the day. So I hope you guys gonna enjoy it, and this is Cape Coast.